Welcome to the Blue Room Podcast, an intimate space where we explore ourselves, our lives, and our relationships more deeply through therapeutic conversation. I'm your host, Fantana Shatamsa, and I'm so grateful to be on this journey with you. Today I have Meghan here with me. What's up, Meghan?
Not much. How are you?
Good. Meghan and I feel like we've known each other through a lot of networking events and stuff through like business stuff and through BWIE. And we've had like little side conversations and got to know each other a little bit. I got to know your business and I just want to, well, we had a really interesting conversation.
Yes.
At the Tia's radio launch party. Around like freezing eggs and that whole process. And I was like, I need to know more.
Yes.
Like I want to like kind of go deep into this.
Okay.
So I'm grateful you're here.
Thanks.
And for people who don't know who you are and what you do, maybe about your business, if you could just tell folks who you are, that'd be great.
So I'm Meghan. Simon's Meghan Better, one of the two you know me as.
Meghan Better.
I run a charcuterie business, Halifax Charcuterie. I am glad to be back in this space. I've been here last year as well, so I do love the studio space here. Glad you asked me to be on the show.
Yeah.
So I'm in the midst of running the business, still sorting out my life, still learning to become an adult. So yeah, I think we'll have an interesting but good conversation today.
Excuse me, I think so too. How's things on the business side?
It's my Valentine's Day weekend, so
it's
like
busy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some last minute orders too, which I don't mind because people are busy. So yeah, it'll be a good weekend, and then next weekend I'll be able to kind of like rest a bit.
When you do your charcuterie boards, like what's the price range? Like what can people do? You do like vegan ones? Do you do
I do offer different sizes. So right now the vegan one is only available in date night just because the cost of the product.
The date night.
Date night is usually good for 2 to 3 people. The standard one starts at 80. I believe the vegan one is 95. And then there's girls' nights, which is not just for girls. That's about 6 to 8 people comfortably. And then there's the party board, which is 10 to 12 people. Like if there's no other food, you're gonna easily 10 to 12 people can eat that until it's gone and they'll be full.
Satisfied.
So if there's other food there, it's definitely easily a part of a spread. You can feed upwards of 30 people with it.
Nice. Yeah. How'd you get into charcuterie?
My girlfriends.
Yeah.
So I also started like I didn't want to get into business. They were just like, this is a good idea. You can do this and you will do it.
Are you always the person that like puts stuff together for your girls?
So yeah, we'd always do potlucks. So I was like, hey, I'll like do charcuterie boards. And after like maybe 3 or 4, they were like, so like cut the BS, like stop being scared. This is gonna be. They came with my price list, the names that night, and then one of my girlfriends came over, found the name like Halifax Charcuterie, did some Googling and some research, and she's like, this is the name. Lock it in. I want to see it advertised next week. So I would say like I was strongly encouraged. They're my unofficial board of executives, but without them, I don't think you guys wouldn't have the business without them. Yeah, so I'm very grateful. I'm leaning into like the business owner side of things because I never thought of it for myself. But it's been fun.
Yeah.
Very lots of education, lots of on-the-job training.
Oh gosh.
But it's been good.
Yeah. And I think you and I chatted a bit about the other night too about how we're like going through transitions, both of us, like in our business, like kind of stepping back a bit but being more intentional about how we operate and wanted to make sure that like things are more aligned and more authentic and
I wanted to, like you said, intention was very key. I scaled back my hours to just weekends. Just because during the week, like I still work a full-time job.
What do you do?
You have kids, so that's like 5 or 6 full-time jobs.
What's your job?
I'm a mutual funds advisor with one of the big 5 banks. So so it's good. My hours are pretty good. But during the week, I just found it was a bit hectic.
Mutual funds advisor.
It's fine. Financial industry is a good industry to work in as far as benefits. Time off, paid time off is really good.
See, she's smart. She's smart and she's
I didn't go to school for it
beautiful.
either. So like you get all the education. I didn't go to school for it.
Yeah, see?
No, I went to school. No, I went to school. It's a double major in psych and philosophy, nothing to do with what I'm doing now. But it's nothing to do, but
very
very beneficial. You're dealing with people. But yeah, the biz side decided I wanted to step back so that way I could spend the time that I wanted to. Like I'm off on Thursdays from my job. So I wanted to spend that time like doing a lot of admin work, but also planning out what I want to do. So February I decided to scale back to only taking orders on weekends. So I'd get some throughout the weekend. They were always like deliveries or pickups and times were different, or like sometimes people can make the times and that was a little stressful.
Right.
So I wanted to be able to still deliver quality, but make sure I had enough time to really like work on growing the business instead of kind of just working in the business and kind of like running in like a rat race.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad I did it. It's made a big difference already, and just being able to like breathe a bit more and also like be really intentional with what I'm offering people, that same quality.
Yeah, and that's totally fine to do that. You know, anybody who has been in business long term, 10 years, 20 years, they're going to tell you themselves, like there are seasons where, you know, you take a bit of a step back. There's seasons where, you know, things are slow. There's seasons where it's really profitable and you have high energy and you're really creative and producing. And that's okay. And you know, I don't think, I mean, I can speak for myself, I don't think I'll ever give up business completely, because I think once you get a taste of entrepreneurship and like the potential, the possibility, you're like, this is something that I really believe in. But it's okay to take that time to reflect and re-strategize and all that. But anyways, you are doing your business. You're a mutual friends of advisor, super educated, gorgeous gal.
Thank you.
And you got all this going on. And now you're thinking about long-term future planning.
Family planning.
And I think a lot of women are in your shoes where it's like, you know, I'm successful, I'm educated, I have all these things. But, you know, I'm thinking about long-term, like wanting a family, wanting my own kids. But there's the barriers, the dating game.
And it's not like it is a game. I'm not playing anymore, but it definitely is a game.
I don't know if that's what made. I mean, I saw it, like your post. Did you keep it up? Did you delete it?
Oh, so no, I made an actual post. That was on my story, but now it's a post on my timeline.
Yeah,
no, it's
Can
still
you
on
tell,
the feed.
like, for people who don't follow you, like, go into, because I thought that was the most hilarious thing, but so relatable.
It was hilarious, but I was like, I'm just really sick of y'all, and by y'all I mean like some men. I will say some men, the men that have like approached me, because usually it's just real, like a lot of energy in the beginning, like lots of talking for like 2 days. And then there's no follow-up. There's no delivery on the deliverables. It's just lots of sweet nothings. I've read poetry. I don't, like, what else can we do here? Like, words are so great. I have great words, but like, what else? Like, and I'll say, like, I provide myself with a good life. Like, I'm not opposed to like buying myself nice things, spoiling myself, taking time to like rest. And I would do that for a partner as well.
Yeah.
But some people think like, oh, I have money, so I can treat you however I want because I have the money. I'm not a fan of that. I've done that, been there. I don't want any parts of that anymore. Or just like I said, the people who just don't follow up. Like they have all these lofty things they say, all these like quote unquote grand plans. The plans never make it. Or like, when am I going to see you? And now I seen a meme that says like in heaven. And now I'm just going to start telling people, when I'm going to see you, you'll see me in heaven. Because otherwise, don't just say, oh, are you free this night to go this place at this time? You're likely going to get a yes. But just say like, when can I see you? I don't know, when can you see me? You can see me online. You can see me driving my car. You can see me. So I always just feel like, if you...
But you can see me online.
Like, you can see me there.
You can see me outside.
So like, and people think that's a little like...
No, it's
not nice, but I'm just like, you say you don't want to waste your time. As a woman, you can't really, like, you can say that, but it's frowned upon to be like, don't waste my time. But like, I have things I'm actively trying to work on. I know what I can offer you and the type of partner that I am. So, you know, you telling me these things and there's no follow-up, immediately it's like a no. So I'm just like, just leave me alone. Just leave me be. If you're not going to come with a plan, with actions, with something that you want to do, with intentions, like, just please.
I'm so grateful that you're saying all that. Like, I know, like, I mean, my situation is a little different. I did things backwards, had my kids. I love it. No, it's never backwards. You're right. But like, you know, I had my kids and you know, I'm back in the dating game, and I'm like, you know, just out here looking at like what's available. I'm like, you know, most people are either, you know, taken or like unavailable, and it's like, I know, and then the question is like, are my expectations too high? But then it's when I hear you talking, I'm like, that's very simple. Like, you know, show the interest,
Yeah.
like, make the effort, show the text, show the communication. And it's not that every person that's texting and calling you're going to be responding to. It's the people that, you see as,
Yeah, and there's been some action there already. It's like, okay, you're like just have integrity. Like a man with integrity, chef's kiss. You
yeah,
did what you said you were gonna do.
yeah,
It's so easy.
just
So
effort.
like saying all these things and there's nothing, I'm like, how can I believe anything else? Like I just like
Not
that's
the
for me.
two
But
days.
like I said,
Yeah.
I don't think I think like sometimes expectations can be too high. It depends. Like I don't have a checklist anymore because like and I was like 20 making this list and I was like I got to 25, 29. I was like this is not like I'm not going to be anybody's checklist either. Like there'll be things you have to be willing to compromise and give on.
Absolutely.
And so I realized that. So I'm like, okay, some of these things I can just like remove. That's not
Yeah.
realistic in life. But now it's just like I'm just not going to settle. Like, and
No.
my mom, she was married, I think, at 21. And I remember her telling me, she's like, you young women now have a chance to figure out who you are before you get there. You don't have to figure out who you are as a wife and maybe as a mom or as all these things to everybody else. You get to figure out who you are and decide what you want and then get it. She was so, that's a privilege, take advantage of it. She's like,
Yeah.
do not rush into something with somebody because you feel like you have to the time. She's like, take your time and figure it out. So I'm like, great advice. She's always been a very wise woman. So now I'm just like, okay, well, like there's nobody on the horizon right now. I feel like for me, and I can be a little like obsessed with planning. People say that's because I'm a Capricorn, whatever, you decide. But I feel like if I ever were to meet somebody, I'd need at least maybe like a year and a half to figure, okay, like are we gonna get married? Are we gonna do that? And then like I want to enjoy at least some time married, like with that
Yeah.
person. Then like, okay, let's have kids. So that
So that's like 5 years right there.
yes, and like yeah, I'm just like I would like to be shorter, but realistically, yeah, and that's if that happens like now, and
Yeah.
I'm not like actively dating.
Yeah.
That's a summer activity for me. I just feel like
Dating is a summer
winter because
activity.
winter is too much. It's cold, and then you gotta just bundle. It's
I
too much.
know.
Summertime, you can just be here, there, meet up. I just find it easier.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
So has that been kind of your relationship, like with dating? I mean, you said something interesting, which I totally resonate with. Like as far as like, if you make the effort and plan the date and do all this stuff, like I will be available and I'll be there and like it's okay. But if we're just like, just texting back and forth, or if there's like no communication, then the interest not there, and it takes time to build. Like you're saying, like 3 years, 5 years, and I agree. Like it takes time to build connection and stuff like that. But part of that is like the consistency and things like that. And like, has that really been like your dating experience as of recently? It's like,
I would say, yeah, consistency has been a big thing. Like even like my exes were consistent with communication for the most part. So like that's always been a big thing and like I like that. And I would say like looking at like your social media presence online and mine, like you know what we're doing day to day and it's a lot of stuff. So like don't leave it up to I think it's like don't leave it up to me to plan something. Like I'm planning everything else in life. I have to like take care of people financially at work all day long. Then I have to figure out my own life after that. I still have like my own family as well that like I'm dealing with different things with. And then so for you to just like try to approach me, then like leave it up to me to do something for us. And it's just like, okay, but then you want to lead and be that guy. So like just give me
make
just
the
a little
effort.
more, like just and I won't say like
I'll
a
meet you
little
halfway.
effort. Yeah, like I will meet you.
Yeah.
But like show me at least, and then like let me see. And once I know that, I'm like okay, like now I can give more and give more and give more. But just show me something. I don't have to like plan everything now in our relationship as well or do everything either because I can just do that by myself. I can plan my own my girl dates, my like alone dates. I can do that.
You said something really important too, as far as like you take care of yourself already. You provide yourself a lifestyle that you like, and I resonate with that because I like the comforts in life, and I'm already taking care of other people, like the kids, family, things like that. It's like you don't necessarily want to be like chasing after someone or be settling for a way, like in a way that your life will be compromised.
Yes.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if I'm used to like taking myself out and taking care of myself and things like that, like if I'm bringing someone into my life that either doesn't value or appreciate that, it's like I've worked way too hard to get to this point to go backwards.
To stop doing these things. So like, exactly. I'm not gonna not do that.
Yeah.
And like I've had people tell me like you shouldn't do that or like you want too much. And I was like, I just want too much, I guess, for you. Like, and I was like, yep, check mark, this is a done deal.
Yeah.
Close it up. But I was like, that's fair. And you can feel that way and that's fine. That's why I said I was just like, maybe this like I think is minimal effort. Like, and this could be your biggest effort. Yeah. And that's okay for you.
Yeah.
But for me, like that is just my everyday for me. So like,
absolutely.
Thank you, I appreciate it, but that is not going to work for me because I know in return what I'm also going to give you. So
yeah, and I've had the other opposite end of that spectrum where it's like someone is putting in a lot of effort, planning dates, buying gifts, all that stuff, but there's no connection, or there's other red flags, and I'm like, I'm also not about to settle just because you're doing all like it's not about material. It's like
exactly.
It's about having a good time together and the effort. Like, whatever love language it is, whether it's quality time, whether it's gifts, whether it's whatever, like I'm not about to sell my soul for a check.
Yes, exactly.
For a nice lifestyle. But at the same time, like it's the effort and then connection.
And your day to day, like do you fit in the day to day? Like are you like I'm not out all the time. I don't always go out and take myself out all the time, but like the times I do, that's great. But like, what is your day to day? Can you can I work with your day to day? Can you fit into mine? Like, are we okay with just being in the house quietly? Maybe you're reading, I'm reading, or whatever. Like, can you just work
into this? We can be bored together.
Yes, it's not about being bored. Like, we can be doing whatever on the house all day together, whatever. But like, just is this going to work, and do you want it to work? Because I'm going to want it to work. Do you want it the same way I do?
Exactly.
So now I'm just like I can't chase after that. Like I would chase a man once, not fruitful, not doing it again.
Yeah.
And that's what these new guys want. Not doing it.
We need a dating 101, a dating expert. So do you feel like still hopeful in dating? Like, do you?
I do.
Yeah.
I think it might just be like late. It could just be later on. Like I think I'm out of the mind now that like I was for like probably a good 6 months. I was like, it's never gonna happen, and like whatever, I'm fine. I'll just be like the best aunt ever, and whatever, and that's it. And then I was just like, you know what? Maybe I'll just be one of those women that get married to like 40, and then like my life will start then. And if it does, it does. If it doesn't, it's fine. But like I'm not closed off to it. Because I know that can happen too after so many bad experiences. People are just like, I'm done. I don't want anything to do with it. And like, everybody does what they want, but I think I'm open to it. I'm just not like hunting it down.
Yeah.
I'm just like trying to focus on other things now in my life. So I think, I won't say I'm over it, but the moment has passed where like, that's my main priority. My priority now is like, how can I build up the rest of my life, build up my business, build my legacy.
Yeah. And is your goal like a relationship, marriage, kids, like that's what you want?
That would be the goal. Like if the kids happen before marriage, that is fine. Like I might even just be like a single mom, like with the eggs. Like the eggs is really like if something happens and I have a partner or a husband and it's not working out, I got the eggs to choose from. But like if there's nobody come like 42, 45, I'm just gonna have my babies and just go from there.
Yeah, let's chat about the eggs a bit, because this dating process like takes time, and building yourself up as a woman, to be educated, to be financially secure, like, and to know who you are, like all that takes time. And there's this pressure of like, especially if you want kids, like it's like, do I need to have them like earlier or by a certain time, or and if you don't have the partner, the person, it's you start thinking about those things, and it's really nice to have that option now, where we're in a time where like freezing eggs is possible, and going through that process is possible. But like if you could just share a little bit more about like what got you to start thinking about it, and like what got you to that point.
I think so. For a long time I didn't want kids. For like a long time that like I sorted that out in therapy. I was like, oh, I'm just a mess of a person. I'll never be a good mom. And then like my cousins, like people in my life who have kids, they were just like, you're so wrong. They're like, that you're concerned about ruining your kids is why you could be a good mom. I still think that's a weird thing for them to say, but they're like, your concern over how you want to raise your children would make you a good mom, because they're like, you care about the in and out, the day-to-day, their emotional well-being. You care about the little things, and like that would make you a good parent. And I was like, like, I guess we'll see. I'm not in like a rush at that time. And then I think after like my last relationship, when that ended, I was kind of just like, I was like, I don't know, like, I didn't want to jump immediately back into dating. And I was like, I had planned to like, okay, like, I did want to have kids with this person. I did want to kind of do the whole, like, build a life with them and do that sort of thing. And so that didn't work out. So I was like, I still want to be a parent. And I'm just like, what? I think most women have a thought, like, what if I can't have kids? Like, if they just, like, they don't have, like, a pregnancy scare or things like that. I'm like, like, don't think about that. You can always go get tested to see. But, like, I think that's kind of where I was. I was like, what if I, like, missed my window? Like, what if my eggs are just fried? Like, there's just nothing good. Or, like, internally I won't be able to, like, have a child or carry a child later on. And I didn't want to just rush to find somebody to have a kid. And now, like, I don't know you. And I don't like you because I really don't know you either. Now we have this person we need to build and raise together. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to do that. And people have told me, like, you just need to find somebody to have kids. And I said, no.
That's also, like, that's also not what I
No, a man told me that. So I was like, first of all, no. So then I was just like, okay, I wonder, like, what it would be like to freeze my eggs. Like, maybe I can just freeze my eggs. And I was like, pipe dream. Like, we should put in the back burner. And then they announced that my job coverage for it. So I was like, I was like, I think I can maybe afford this now. And I was like, because before I was like, $9-10 out of pocket, and that's just to freeze them. That's not to put them back.
Out of pocket. Yeah. For how many eggs?
However many your body produces. So you gotta hope your body gives you a good amount.
Can you make yourself produce more eggs?
So they give you, so part of the process is there's an injection you have to take. I think they might have said there's 2 of them, but there's one you'll take daily, and that helps your body produce multiple eggs at once. Like normally when like you're having your period, it's the one egg that drops. But what they do is there's 2 shots. Yeah, one is to produce multiple eggs, and the other one is to stop you from ovulating so your eggs don't drop. So it's like they build the eggs and keep them in there till they go in to retrieve them.
Interesting.
So yeah. So a good haul, they told me a good haul of eggs is 10 to 15.
Wow.
Yeah. So the hope is
that why, and I don't know if this is true or not, but is that why folks who go through that process of like freezing and like fertilizing are more likely to have like multiples? Because
so a lot of times they'll put more than one in because they might not all be like viable. So like even though you're getting 10 to 15 eggs, they're not all going to be quality eggs, is what I was told. So
quality eggs.
Yes, which sounds so crazy.
And the haul of the eggs.
Haul is it's very like the conversation is very sterile. It's the nurses are all really great, but the conversation it's like you're not talking about like what will become a child. You're talking about so they're just like, like you want to make sure you have quality eggs, and like I'm freezing at the egg I guess part. You can do the embryo, but the embryo you need a donor, so you need sperm to get the embryo. So that I don't have that. I'm not interested to keep your offers.
Right.
So yeah, it'll just be the eggs. But yeah, but they said out of 10 to 15 eggs, I think you might have a 60% chance of one of them becoming a live birth. So like if you think of the stats,
60% of one
becoming a live birth
after
10, if I get the 10 to 15. Some people's bodies, even though they get the shots, they might not get 10 to 15 eggs. They might get 8. They could get 12.
And you're paying 10. Wow, that's like
it's a big investment.
It's a big investment.
So like couples who like, I understand like people who go through IVF to have a kid, and like, what happens, they're just like, we really wanted them. Like, those people really did, because what your body has to go through.
For sure.
And then like physical. The cost probably is minimal. It's just like the emotional toll of like, doing one cycle and that doesn't work. So you're back in doing another one. So like the egg freezing, that's a cycle of egg freezing is the $9,000, plus you still have to pay for the medications, like the injections, the birth controls they give you. And the IVF though, I think is like 20 per cycle. So if you do the freezing, they do whatever they do in the lab, they add the sperm to it from the donor to get the embryo, and they put the embryo back in. And then like if that first embryo doesn't take, then you have to do another cycle. So like you go through your
So each
embryos.
cycle is like 20K.
Yes.
20,000.
So you're going through so if you have multiple viable embryos, which can be the case sometimes, they'll put them in. But if none of them take, then you'll have to do another cycle of eggs to get eggs to make embryos to go in. So where
And
I'm
that's
freezing
like you
though,
said, like injections and
yeah,
waiting and
yeah,
that emotional like anticipation and
yes.
trying to.
Yeah, so it can be tricky. Well, I won't say tricky. It can just be taxing. Like I've
Yeah.
never gone through IVF before. I've known people who have, and like they've all done it privately. Like they've all reached out when I've made posts being like, "Oh, I did that. Like, reach out if you have any questions."
Yeah.
But they wanted to do it privately just because they just didn't want people to know, which is fair. I respect that. Like if because I think sometimes too, like I've heard women talking, they're just like, I feel bad, like I can't have a kid, or like I've had miscarriages, and I'm like, all that stuff is common, but we just don't talk about it.
Yeah,
And
it's so
like if we
common.
talked about it, we would know. Like that's like you're people like, oh, women are made to have kids, and it's like yes, like in a sense, yes, but it doesn't make you any less than if like you have difficulty or trouble. Like it's
Absolutely.
very normal to like have miscarriages or maybe there's difficulty because there's a lot of stuff going on inside your body that you're just not privy to.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So where are you at in your stage?
So I finally got in. So it was a 12-month waiting period. It's now 2 years from what I was told. So
Wow.
you can self-refer, or you can have your doctor refer you. The difference is like if you self-refer, there could be like a $300 fee. If your
Okay.
doctor refers you, it could be waived. So my doctor referred me, but she's like, you could still get charged. And I was like, it's fine, I'll just pay it. And then there's a series of blood work you have to do. So I've had 2 rounds of blood work. And then once they go over the results of the ones I recently sent in or had done, then they'll have to do an ultrasound to see how like inviting my womb is, and then they'll go from there to see if it's a place to get viable eggs from.
What makes it welcoming or unwelcoming?
I don't know yet. Hoping to see it looks fine, but I
That's
don't know. I'll know more after the ultrasound because they do a vaginal ultrasound, so they'll check. But yeah, it's I plan to capture all of it because I'm like
I would love you to.
they gave me the information, but I'm someone that's like, yeah, you're saying these things, I can kind of conceptualize it, but like what does this really mean and look like? So
Yeah.
yeah, but I plan to because the data was very low. Like I couldn't find any data on Black women who did IVF or egg freezing, specifically in Canada. There was like none. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna try to like vlog it in a way, or like keep it and make content from it and post about it, just so people know like this is an option for one. And then like two, like there's no shame if you do go through this. Or, like if you are a single woman, like you still have options.
Yeah.
But if I had the money or the coverage, I would have done it younger too. Because like the younger you are, like essentially the younger your eggs are, if that makes sense. So it's better to do it then, but I didn't have the
How old are you
coverage.
now? Okay.
32.
Okay. Okay. So then say this whole process kind of goes like as planned, as far as like one cycle kind of goes, as far as the freezing, like how long is that process usually take? Like you have to start the injections, you have to, wait some time.
I think the total from like injections to retrieval is 5 or 6 weeks.
Oh, that's not that
Yeah,
bad.
it's
I
not
thought it was like
bad.
a year.
No, no, no. It's not that long. It's usually yeah, like a 5 to 6 week time frame because you do. I think it's 4 weeks or so many 4 weeks, 20 days, whatever of like the injections. Then you'll do the retrieval, and they'll let you know like how many they got, if it looks good, that sort of thing.
And how long can eggs be frozen for?
I don't know, but I don't know exactly, but like it can be like several years. So I
Okay.
think it's the way it's done at whatever the word is, but they're in like a proper freezer type thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Try not to show myself. No, I think it's a really important conversation to have. And like, I know for people who have not gone through the process, it's probably harder for them to understand or maybe like relate because we're just like, sometimes we're just like, just you're still young, like take your time, like, there's no rush, like, but it's different because we have our own experience, and it's
Yeah.
different when, people are actually going through it and women are actually going through it. And like, what do you think some of the reasons are that women might choose this path? Or, I know you've shared a bit about why you have, but like, what are kind of some of the common things that you've heard of? Like,
Some reasons like for my own like if you want to have kids later on, or if like potentially you might have trouble, you don't know, just because the older you are. Like I did family history, so I talked to my mom and I was like, is there like a series of miscarriages in our family, or like people having tough pregnancies? And she was just like, everybody's very fertile. She's like, we're all very fertile. You're our side, my side, your dad's side. She was just like a few like family members have had like difficult pregnancies.
Right.
They were older when they were pregnant, so like that potentially could be a cause, and also like work environments, like the types of buildings they were in potentially.
Yeah.
So that kind of always concerned me because that's on my mom's side. So I was like, oh, like I don't know. And everybody was generally young. Like my mom had her last child at 32. So just and like she had a good pregnancy, she was fine, but she's never had any issues with miscarriages. My brother has like several kids. That sounds worse than it is, but like she said, like we're like everybody know my family who's had kids, like they haven't had issues with kids.
That's good.
But it's just to make know that like I have the option to, or if like surrogacy is ever legal in the way that it's legal in the States here, like I have that option
Is it illegal
too.
here?
It's not illegal. It's just like the way it's set up in the States is not like it's set up here.
Okay.
I couldn't like offer you to like carry my kid and pay you and take care of your bills and all that. Like that's
You don't do that.
You can't
People
do that
don't
here.
do that.
Or like it's very you can just but you can donate your eggs, but you can't like as far as surrogacy goes, it would be more like you volunteer.
You can donate your eggs.
You can't sell the eggs in Canada. You can donate them.
So who are you donating them
like
to?
If a woman couldn't produce her own eggs.
Oh,
so things like that.
see.
So that's an option. Like I think in the US you can sell them, but you could donate them too.
I see. Okay. So like for like thinking of like same-sex couples who like want to have kids and things.
Yes.
So surrogacy is not or what is the route?
I feel like under the table is all is the option
here because it's so
unless somebody
common
volunteers. Yeah, unless somebody's just like I'll do it for you.
Right, like say like if it's your sister or it's
you could do it like you could offer it, but I don't know though. I'd have to ask the people at the clinic. Now they might say they might not be able to answer me for legal reasons either. But I know it's very different from the U.S. Like the U.S. you'll hear about people like university students selling their eggs for money so that they can like pay their tuition and
a little
stuff.
Side hustle.
Yeah, but here it's
also like surrogacy.
Strict.
Like I mean, in the States, I hear you make like up to $60,000.
Yeah,
for like
if you enjoy being pregnant, have at it. Yeah. I don't know. My mom she loves us. So she was like, pregnancy was not. She's like it was
because
not.
I mean, you can still work. You can still do what you need to do, and a lot of times they're taking care of your bills. Your like especially with the celebrity surrogates. Like
yeah.
I definitely looked at it. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, low key, I'd probably be like a celebrity surrogate because I would have like the money to then like do what I want to do afterwards.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure. And I'd be like, listen, I don't want no parts of nothing. I don't even really want to put my real name on these documents because they get out. Just give me my money on time. This is your baby. I'll let you know. I really don't take this. Please take this child. We're all said and done. Congrats.
Yeah, definitely. It's a real like. Business.
It's definitely a business.
It's just like a market. I don't know.
I know it's because you're thinking about people and bodies, and you're like, oh, yeah.
Wow. But there is a lot of opportunity too, like in terms of, helping people have a family.
Yes.
Yeah. Like if they can't for whatever reason, like, it's really interesting. And like I guess the question kind of comes up too is around, where you are young and you don't know yet if you're fertile or not.
That's
like
true,
you could try to get pregnant and you might be very successful at it.
Yes.
And
so that thing too is just like, what if I just end up pregnant?
Like the first
and I'm like, all the eggs are just whatever they're. I'm like, well, just I guess wait and see. Or like I said, I could always donate them. But I never thought about donating until somebody mentioned it to me, and I was like, that's something that it would be like very kind to do, like knowing that people do need eggs, and like a lot of Black women also don't donate eggs. So like I'm thinking of like other Black women who may want a Black child, and they, maybe have to settle for like an embryo from somebody who's not Black, and then like their partner, or even like they don't often talk about a lot of fertility issues are for men. It's not the woman. and you don't know. Like a lot of times you don't
Interesting.
find out until you go to the fertility clinic because they test your partner with you. If you have a partner,
Yeah.
they'll test their sperm and they're like, oh, your body, your eggs, everything's fine.
Yeah.
It's the sperm. There's like, they need to
Interesting.
up their sperm count or what have you. But you can always get tested at your doctors. Like we're in Canada, luckily. So you
Yeah.
can always go to your GP if
Like
you have one
fertility
and do like
testing.
fertility testing for yourself. And then if you have a male partner, they can get them like their sperm and everything tested too
Okay.
to figure out where you're at. And you're never too young to do that. They'll make it seem like wait until you have kids. But I think this whole thing has taught me like don't wait until you want to do something. Like check it out beforehand. Like
Yeah, do
get
your
information you can
research.
beforehand. I'm somebody who will wait until the last minute and be like, I don't need to do that until then. And then I'll get there and realize like, oh, I should have checked into this
Look
earlier.
then, right.
So this was kind of part. I was like, oh, I don't want to wait until like maybe I'm at the point where I want to have kids and then maybe I can't. So
Right.
if I can do this now, like I said, I have the privilege to have coverage. I know that's very much a
Right.
privilege. It's not something everybody has access to.
Especially in the
So
States too. I'm
yeah,
thinking like
yeah.
how, a lot of that is, well, it's not covered here publicly either.
No,
You
it's
have
not
to have
covered
the
through like
private.
the insurance to my job, and they're going to up it too. So I might like push it back a month.
Oh,
They're
nice.
gonna up it in
Okay.
April, the coverage. So I'm like, maybe I'll just slide. Yeah.
So then what's the process like if, you get to the age that feels right for you and you don't have the person but you still want to be pregnant. You go through the IVF thing. And do you know anything about this looking for the sperm
I
process?
know you can like there are donors. I know you can go through. I don't know if it's literally like the catalog of like you're flipping through like descriptions of people. But I know you can either I think you can maybe source your own donor. I don't know the legalities of that. But you could probably source your own. Or you can go through like donors because there are people that do donate too. The same way women
Okay.
donate eggs, men can
Right.
donate.
And
So
their sperm. And so in the donation process, like, and I don't know if this is true or not, but like, are the donors like paid for their?
I don't
Because
know. I would
when you think
think
of it's like,
so.
well, when you think of donation,
No,
like you
maybe
think it's
not.
free.
Maybe in Canada, probably not. Because if you
Yeah.
can't like sell your eggs, you probably can't sell your sperm.
But I'm just thinking about the just stupid shows that I used to watch, and people used to like
Yeah,
get
they go
paid
like
for
get $10, $20 for their
for this
sperm,
sperm.
and you're like, well, this could be someone's kid.
And like like how do you know who the donor is? Like, is that part of? But is that part of the like when you're even donating eggs? Like, do you know if like is there is
It's very
the history of the
thorough
person
because
important?
they did
Right.
it like there's a long questionnaire to fill. It was like 7 or 8 pages of like who I am, my history, like my family's
Really?
history, like health history, mental health history, like all of that. So
To
like
donate or to
so this is for
retrieve?
me to even do egg freezing, just so they know.
Oh,
So
the
like
type of
assuming
okay.
everybody's honest, like I was honest, so assuming everybody is, I think that might be how they gather the data. But
Interesting.
I think yeah, I probably will. Hopefully, I don't have to cross that bridge, but if so, I'll cross that bridge when I
Yeah.
get there and see. But
These are good questions.
yeah,
Like if there's like a fertility specialist out
yes,
there that like wants to come in and give more info on this, I think that
mm-hmm.
a lot of women need to know this
Mm-hmm.
information. Like it's not talked about as much or as openly and why do you think it's important for us to be having these conversations?
I think just to give yourself the opportunity, like just
Mm-hmm.
to know, because like you can be a single person and have a kid nowadays, or like even if you are same sex, like or you're like a couple that is like maybe trans, like you have these options if you don't want to carry your own child or you don't want to offer up your own egg or your own sperm,
Mm-hmm.
just to know you have options. I think that's the biggest thing to so
Yeah.
you have a choice. I
Yeah.
think no matter where you are in life as a human, whether like what your status is in life. I think everybody will like have choice. I think choice is where dignity starts.
Yep.
Being able to choose what you can do or want to do with your life. So I think
Absolutely.
having the choice is the
Yeah,
biggest thing for me now.
for sure. And for me, it's the education because realizing or even not realizing some of the like misconceptions or like perceptions that I have of the fertility and IVF process because maybe I take it for granted, how quickly and easily I have kids. So sometimes when someone is sharing their desire or some of their challenges that they're having or the different route that it's taking them, like sometimes it's news to me because it's not talked about a lot. So I'm like, people are really going through this. Like, how can we be more educated so we don't sound ignorant, and be more, open-minded to the different possibilities of how people are having families.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Remember you were like, girl, you're so young. Everybody told me, like, you're so young. But I always say, like,
that's an ignorant comment too.
It's not. Well, I don't take that because, like I told you, like you can be the best shape of your life,
Absolutely.
but your eggs don't stop aging. So like you could heal your body through food, different things. Yeah. But like we're born with all the eggs we'll ever have. So like as a woman, like you've been here in your mother's womb, your grandma, you've been here. I would say like women, they feel like we're just special creatures because we've been here from
your grandmother at least.
Yeah.
Like when your grandmother is holding your mom in her belly and her uterus, your mom's eggs are already there. Yeah. So you're already there. Yeah. Like, so it's really interesting.
Because that's why I'm like, that's true about the eggs. I have to ask them, like, the eggs that I'm going to produce multiple, like, are these just like eggs from the future I'm like taking out, or are these like AI eggs? Because then I'm just like, if if they're like AI, I don't know. Like
generated
if they're just like AI eggs, is that why the viability's not as good? Because like they're, so I do have to ask that. But there's so much to learn. But I will say, just you're never too young. Yeah. But definitely know your family history, and you can always, like I said, get your fertility tested as a man or a woman, non-binary person. Just check as soon as you feel like you want to, just so you know. Yeah. Knowledge is power, so knowing is good.
And like and I think asking the questions and searching and educating ourselves, the folks who are not going through the process, so that when we have conversations, like we're not saying ignorant stuff. Like even though you say like the age comment is very normal and common, like just having a conversation with you, age is not the only reason why people want to freeze their eggs and have children. Like there's a multitude of factors. So, being open to that and, supporting each other as women is super important. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you for having me. This was good.
Yeah, all the best on your journey. And, if you decide to go through with the freezing, we'd love to have you back. And
definitely. At the end of it all.
Yeah. And we'll be watching if you share it on your stories.
Oh, I will be for sure. It will be there.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to follow us on the Blue Room Podcast on Instagram. And let us know what you thought of this episode. We will chat with you soon. Bye.